Do you ever get like a really crazy craving for a particular food that you just can't shake? Well, I've been craving bean and cheese burritos. So I went to the store and I got some. So let's cook one up. Boy, that sure is adequate. All right, guys, I guess I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. But no, in all seriousness, we're gonna make a really good bean and cheese burrito that's gonna take the potential of what a bean burrito can be and send it to its highest possible evolution, or at least we're gonna try to. So I think two things that can make or break a bean burrito from the beginning, any burrito at that, not just bean, but two things: tortillas and cheese. So a lot of times you'll see like at the stores they'll say burrito style tortillas, and there'll be those like stark white tortillas that look very thick, and those are not what you want. Those will break apart very easily. In fact, take a look at this. It already started bursting at the seams just in the microwave. That's because this is not a quality tortilla. Now, you don't have to go to Mexico or anything like that to get a quality tortilla. These were actually at the Walmart here locally. And I think they're at most Walmarts. These are the market side uh, burrito style tortillas. Now, what you'll find with these, you can tell off the bat, these already are not those typical like stark white tortillas. These have more of a gloss and a sheen to them because they are way more glutinous than you'll find in those cheaper tortillas, which allows them to stretch. And you're really gonna want a tortilla that can stretch to hold all of the fillings. Next, cheese. So a lot of times when you're making burritos or at home, you'll grab a bag of shredded cheese, you'll throw it into your mixture or on top of your burrito, and you'll notice it doesn't really melt. It does melt, but it kind of melts how like a toy melts. It melts and then hardens again. That's because shredded cheeses use a lot of anti-caking agents, which don't really allow the cheese to melt. So it kind of melts and then re-solidifies like a plastic. So I'm using a smoked cheddar cheese today. And we're gonna grate this ourselves so we can actually get a proper melt. Two small things that seem like they might not be the biggest deal, but they can make all the difference. All right, now we're gonna talk about the main ingredients for our bean burritos. So obviously first, beans. Like I just got some cans of pinto beans, no salt added so we can control that sodium level. Yeah, I think those are like 80 cents or something like that a can, nothing special. We're gonna be cooking in manteca, also known as lard today. It's more traditional, adds a great base of flavor. These will not be vegetarian bean burritos at all, but if you want to make them vegetarian, instead of using lard, you could use something like coconut oil or maybe avocado oil. But yeah, I'm gonna be using some lard. Also, I got some garlic paste. We're gonna be using some chicken bouillon as well, some tomato paste, and this is a weird addition. I just had the idea to do it. This is ponzu sauce. It's a Japanese style sauce, but one of the first ingredients in this sauce is bonito flakes. Bonito flakes are fish flakes, like also mixed with kombu, which is like seaweed. So it's like it adds a extra depth of flavor. It's not gonna make the beans taste like fish at all, but it will add a nice umami level to it. So we've also got some sea salt, some chili powder, some smoked paprika, and you guessed it, some cumin. I'm also going to be using onions, jalapenos, and a protein. Again, if you're doing this vegetarian or you just don't have a protein like this, just skip this, but I'm gonna be using pork belly. I got this from Trader Joe's. It's a half piece of pork belly. I'm gonna use the entire thing. I'm gonna dice it up and crisp half of it off, put it aside, but also cube up the rest of it and throw it into the beans as they cook. It's gonna add some extra meaty flavor to the beans without turning it into a meat and bean burrito. This is still gonna be a bean burrito, but that depth of flavor is gonna come from this pork. All right, so now we're just gonna cube this pork up. By the way, if you do not have something like pork belly, you can also substitute for any cured meat. And that includes bacon, pancetta, smoked ham, smoked turkey, anything like that that's gonna add a nice smoky flavor to it. I'd say go ahead and use. And again, if you're doing this vegetarian style, just you can skip this entire thing and maybe go for a dash of liquid smoke instead. All right, so while the pork is cooking up, we're gonna go ahead and cut up half of an onion and one full jalapeno. I did that to be cool, but it also kind of worked out. So half this onion we're going to cook up and put to the side, much like our pork. And then the other half we're gonna dice up and we're gonna add in probably like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes before the beans are completely done, so they can still have some of that chew. All right, that's what you want to see, those crispy bits right there. Let's go ahead and put that to the side, drain it on a paper towel. All right, so we're gonna come in with about 2 tablespoons of our lard and get that incorporated into the pork fat that's already in there. I also ended up doing 2 jalapenos instead of just one, but we're gonna add that to our oil. As this is cooking, we're gonna start building the base of our flavor. We're gonna go in with some tomato paste, probably about half a tablespoon to a tablespoon. So I'm gonna do about that much. Now you don't want to over season, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of smoked paprika, a little bit of chili powder, do a little bit of this garlic paste. I don't want to go too heavy on the cumin, so I'm going to do a little bit to start. All right, now, while that's cooking up, we're going to go ahead and grab our 2 cans of pinto beans. I'm going to drain. Now we're going to add some of this chicken bouillon. This stuff is really strong, so you don't want to add too much. I'm going to start with a teaspoon. I'm going to start with about a cup of water, and we'll add more if we need. And I'm going to go ahead and add my pork in, the pork that we did not cook. All right, now I'm about to add half a tablespoon of this ponzu. By the way, if you don't have ponzu sauce or anything with like bonito flakes, you can skip it entirely. You can add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce or soy sauce, or just skip this step entirely, to be honest. A little bit of liquid smoke goes a long way as well to add to the depth of flavor with these beans. But luckily I had that. But if you don't have it, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. All right, so while the beans are cooking up, we're gonna go ahead and shred up our cheese. This is smoked cheddar. It's got a real nice smoky flavor to it. That's really gonna go hard in this burrito. All right, we got some good cheese. And the last thing I think we need to do before we put everything together is sauce. And for the cheap burrito, we're gonna go with our typical Cholula sauce. For our homemade bean burrito, I found this cilantro dressing at Trader Joe's. Really quality ingredients, looks really good, tastes really good. I was gonna make it myself, but I didn't want to I didn't want to show off too much. But we're gonna use this sauce for our homemade burrito. All right, so the point of cooking these beans, you want them to be very, very tender. These are still a bit hard. And if you find that the water is evaporating quicker than the beans are cooking, feel free to add more water. I'd probably do like a fourth of a cup at a time just so you don't overwater it. Just like that. I'll cover that back up. They're getting really thick. I don't have a thing to actually like mold them up, so I might need to get creative. Okay, so I just cleaned the ponzu bottle. I think we're gonna just use this to like mash these things up. Let's try it first. The flavor in these are, whoa, okay. Honestly, that's looking pretty good. I kind of wanted like a half, like refried, half whole bean kind of situation. I might mix up a little bit more. That looks pretty good. Good as new. We can also add our crispy pork back. Just a good handful of raw onion. One more splash wouldn't hurt. All right, I'm gonna let this go for about 10 minutes. Then we should be done. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. We're gonna go in with juice from the rest of our line. All right, it's also time to taste test and add some more seasonings if we need some. Looking pretty good. It's like a half whole bean, half refried bean kind of mix, which is exactly how I love my bean burritos. I don't like them just to be mush, but I don't want just like full, like, like bean burrito on the cob kind of vibes. I think you can use a little bit more of everything actually. And it's our first time adding salt besides the chicken bouillon. Not too much. Y'all could smell that. We got 3D printing. 3D smell is on the way. It really is. All right, so to really test if this is better, we need to take out a bean burrito, throw it in the microwave, and give it the best chance that it can. So let's assemble this burrito and heat up our control burrito. Good luck, little guy. You're gonna need it. Even though it's a little big, you're still going to warm this up a little bit. You don't want it to get crispy yet at all. You just want to warm it up so it's easier and more malleable, so you don't get any tears when you're forming your burrito. Pretty much once you can feel the warmth through the burrito onto your palm, that should be warm enough. Would probably be better if I had the correct burner on. I was wondering why it wasn't getting warm. This one was on. All right, I think we're good now. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start with some cheese at the bottom. And you guessed it, some beans on top of those cheese. And you may have guessed it again. Some more cheese. Now it's time to wrap. All right, so the wrap is gonna come in real tight here. Fold it over like this. Bring everything forward and then scoop it all back like that. Scoop it back and then continue to roll. And there you have it. Now, we're not done. We're gonna crisp this guy up in the pan so it has a nice char on it. Now we're gonna come down with a little bit of avocado oil, not too much. Now you're gonna put the burrito down seam side down so it can already go ahead and press that in so you don't end up spilling stuff out. Okay. I think we're ready to go. All right, so first contender, we've got the market side burrito. Let's take a look at that cross section. Not much to really write home about, but you know, you can't even really see where the cheese is. Where's the cheese? Where the cheese is, Cheese Whiz? You can't. It's just all one color. I mean, it's a cheap burrito, but that being said, I think even if you don't go to the heights that I went to, you can still make a better burrito for the same price versus how many you get. And then there's our burrito. Got a little weight to it. Now that's a cross section. Oh, you can really see the difference, the textures. You can see where that cheese starts. I think our burrito clearly looks better as far as the aesthetics go, but let's give it a fair shake. So when I do eat these kinds of bean burritos, which is rarely, but I usually try to add Cholula or Valentina or Tapatio, something like that. So in the spirit of fairness, we're gonna add some of that to our dollar burrito. Let's give that a try. This really reminds me of like going to the skate park, getting home, and just having this in the freezer. It's not good by any stretch of the imagination. It's not good, but it can hit that spot. You know, it's got a lot of carbs to it. It's very filling, but it's not good. I know it's a cheap burrito, but I think you can do better, especially if you make your own and freeze them. Then you can have better quality frozen burritos, and I think that goes a long way. Now, the moment that I've been waiting for, we're gonna try out our burrito with. We'll do a bite without the green sauce, then a bite with the green sauce. But bon appetit. Whoa. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. I was fearing that the smoked cheddar might be a little too strong. But when it's melted together with all this, it really works. It's very, very smoky, but not so smoky that it doesn't taste like an authentic bean burrito. I thought it would be like diving too close to like the Tex-Mex area with that smokiness, but this is good. Get a little bit of that green sauce. Oh, it's a messy girl. All right, let's try this out. Make your own burritos. It's. I didn't do the math because I'm not. I just didn't think to. These can't be that much more expensive than those when you actually think of the fact that I bought several cans of beans and I have all the seasonings and I can make more and freeze them. Price wise, it has to get closer together. But even if it's not, this is far and away worth it. Like again, if this is what you got, it works. But if you can make these, make these. This is our first but better on this channel, and I mean, this was a softball pitch. I'm doing frozen $1 burritos. It'd be weird if I couldn't make it taste better. But yeah, these are better. Cooking it in that lard just adds so much extra flavor. That pork in there, the different levels, the crispy pork, I'm still getting that. They're getting that pork that's been cooked in there the entire time. Same with the onions. Just real flavors, real ingredients. Papa John's. I really wish I had a beer with this, but a sparkling water will do. I'm still gonna eat these. I bought three of them because I was scared that I would, I don't know, burn them or something, then have to run back to the store. So I'm gonna eat them, but better. So I definitely like when people in the YouTube cooking world do the things like but better, but cheaper, but this, but that. So if you guys have any ideas for any other videos in this kind of same realm, let me know in the comments. I'd be very excited to try them out. But yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this burrito, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So until then, peace.